Hey everybody, welcome back to Curtis Customs. Back in the shop, we have our second motor on our new Harbor Freight engine stand with manual rotator. Before we had the LS6 on here, just briefly going through it, but didn't actually show you what it took to get it on and off this, because both the engine hoist and the engine stand both have V'd legs, so you have to rig your engine, so to speak, so the pulleys are facing out and the bell housing is to the rear. And then as you jack it up or lower it down, you set your bell housing bolts and all that for the mounting. So once you get that all done in here, then you can take it off. Pop this off here. And then what's nice is, since it's V'd, to get it totally out of the way, you can just go backwards with it. To as far as you need, or flip the legs up. Both the engine hoist and the engine stand, when you go to store it, you pull a pin and they come up. So what's cool about this and what is extremely awesome is we probably have 9 motors lined up for the next 9 builds, and they're all on this stand that it's a pain in the ass to jack it up, have to take stands off, get them on a wheel cart, get them facing the right way, to where even with these stands on, we could still put headers, exhaust manifolds, do our pan work, can really do anything. And what is really nice about it that we figured out on that one is, normally you cannot put a flywheel or a flex plate on an engine while it's on a stand because it is in the way. But with it being offset enough, you can get the flywheel in here, get your flex plate bolts in there, Loctite it and torque down, and you don't even have to take it off of the stand. So it really is the cat's meow, and for 270 bucks, it's totally worth it. So what we're gonna do right now is, for sake of working on the pan, pull the motor stands off. We're gonna pull this pan off that was just put on for shipping the engine to us from BCM in California. We have a new Holley 302-1 LS oil pan with pickup tube, no gaskets. We're gonna put the oil filter on. We're going to space and modify the windage tray, since this is a 408 stroker. Matt said we just need to shim the windage tray about anywhere from 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch, and we'll rotate it and make sure that we have proper gap and tolerances. We will be removing the accessory drive on another video, because we did order a Wagner accessory drive for this stroker, which is going in this 88 K5 Blazer, if you guys have been following along. If not, you could revert back to the previous videos of us picking it up, tearing it down. We got rid of the old 350 and 700 R4. The chassis is back from powder coat. I don't know if that'll make it all the way over here, but chassis is back from powder coat. Axles are powder coated. We hung the suspension today and axles, and now we are getting ready to make the motor mounts and do all the necessary changes we need to do to get it ready to go into the chassis, put the tires on, bring it up, and lower the body back down on it to make it a roller. So stay tuned and we'll get it rolling. You see me trip over that power wire, don't laugh too hard. Get this wiped down and then we'll get you a nice engine shot. .408 stroker from BCM. Don't know how much of that you'll actually be able to see. But like I said, the accessory drive that he shipped it with will be removed and we will be installing a Wagner drive. Right, so we got 3 spacers, aka washers. And we're just going to do a slow rotation. They're still touching. So we'll add some more, and then once we get it figured out, I'll bring the camera over here, shine it in there. Hopefully get it set up where you guys can see, and you guys can actually see the end caps. Just barely missing, but we want just barely, plus a little more once this thing is spinning 6,000 RPMs. You don't want it to grow at all. And a windage tray, for those that don't know, all it does is catch all the slung oil, collects, and then it drips back down into the oil pan. Basically, it helps the oil from cavitating, meaning having a bunch of air, so your engine oil pickup tube, which in a minute we will mount. Not to sound like I know what I'm doing, but there's an O-ring in here, oil pump up here. Once this gets configured, this bolts in like this, like this. So the deep part of the pump, the sump for the oil pan, everything is going to get slung, hit the windage tray, recollect, thick drops, fill up the oil pan, back up to the pickup tube, and then vice versa. So I'll get some more. We're just going to test the outside in the middle, just to get our reference. All right, I think that's what we'll get. Happy with that. I'll get you guys moved around and set up so you guys can see in there. Hopefully it'll focus. I'll do a couple rotations so you can see. And then we'll go on and put the pickup tube and get everything bolted down and put the pan back. Okay, now that it's focused, hopefully it stays focused. But what we are trying to achieve is spacing the plate from here back into these cap nuts that hold the piston rods to the crank. So once it focuses again, I will rotate it, and you can see roughly, there you go, what I'm talking about. So picture this going around thousands and thousands of RPMs. Now that hissing you hear, if it's picking up on the microphone, is the compression of the engine. So there's a set of caps coming back there. Come on. We'll wait for the front ones, which are coming right now. So I know you can't really tell, but there's probably a quarter of an inch between there and there. Okay, now that we got it spaced out, we'll pull it off, and then we will get the nuts torqued down, we'll get the oil pickup tube on, and then we'll get the pan on there. Turn this so you can see a little bit more. So I'm gonna get 2, 4, 6, 8 more. Be right back. So we'll get them bolted down, and then we will do a quick rotation check to make sure tightening them down didn't affect anything. And then we will pull these off one at a time and Loctite them and get them torqued down. I'm gonna take one shot and like, what do? Let's take another one out, which will give us 3. But I would rather have too much and go down, and then versus thinking something will be good and then all of a sudden it gets chingered up. So imagine trying to do this on the ground, looking up. Not saying it's not doable, but I wouldn't want to do it. Yeah, that's right. Alrighty. Pop these loose, get some Loctite, torque them down. We'll lube up the O-ring on the oil pickup tube. If we just throw the pan on there real quick, make sure nothing interferes. It shouldn't. No touching, plus the gasket will raise it up just a little bit. Should be race ready. All right, we got some Loctite. Little dab will do ya. Now we're going to torque these down to 18 foot-pounds. Not that one yet, we got to put the oil pickup tube in that hole. So like I said in the last video, some of the motors we get from BCM, we don't know what quite the fitment is, depending on what chassis or frame it's going in. So he will ship it sealed, and he'll just do a donor pan, and then we will get what type of depth and angle of pan we need once we get it figured out. Normally, he always ships everything ready to drop in and run. Let me get my Rotella oil. Yeah, tripod slacking. Always try to make sure it's the correct thread. Never know if it comes with the right hardware in the kit. Most people just drop it in and start torquing and going away, and then you end up with some chingered stuff, and we don't want to do that. All right, O-ring, little dab of Smuckers. I'm gonna put a little bit inside that hole. We're just doing 18 foot-pounds. We'll get this nut started, and then we will make sure that this O-ring seats in there. Just the tiniest of dab. And the oil pickup, we'll just do, I'm gonna do 12 pounds and then I'll look it up and check. Imagine it can't be too crazy. It's 12 pounds, feels good. Didn't feel like it was binding up or anything. Seated good. Call that good. Got Loctite will dry in there and seal it. Everything else is torqued down. Double check the fit of the pan. Everything still feels good. We gotta finish putting the oil pan together. There's a collection tray scavenger tray that comes that we will have to also put together. So it might be a Chinese fire drill. Get that in there. We'll just put the hardware in loosely and double check. Oh yeah, almost like it was meant for it. So we'll pull that off, Loctite those down, get our gasket on, and seal up the pan. We'll just do these 10 pounds as well. They don't do nothing but hold this little tray. Right. Now the pan's all put in all together. We will open up our pan gasket. Give the block a final wipe through. New hardware going in. All right, all pan bolts in. We will torque them down. Still hitting at 18 foot-pounds. All right, what do you guys think that cast aluminum oil pan really dresses up the motor? Now in the kit came with the oil filter housing threads, so we can Loctite that, install that, get it torqued down. Install the oil filter. We have a low-car oil dipstick tube coming. What we got? Oh, I undid the torque. Oops. That's 18 pounds. Go to even 20 pounds. Perfect. I'm just putting the oil filter on for right now, just to keep it sealed. We will, before the first startup, drop the oil filter, fill it up when we fill up the engine before we start it. And then we got the cover left to do where a factory oil cooler would be. We're going to block that off. I'm not sure if that Holley pan kit came with one, but we got this pan kit from Vintage Parts of Arizona, and they put all this together for me. Hopefully I have a gasket. These are torqued down to 10 pounds as well. So that's it for that. Now what's cool, what I like about it is now we'll flip her over and show you that it's possible to do the flywheel, or the flex plates, so to speak. See if you guys can see that. Yep. So before, Old engine stand, you couldn't do that. But this, you are able to fully dress an engine without having to take it on and off the stand. We'll get these on, Loctite it, run them down, 75, 80 foot-pounds. Yeah, so nice to be able to do that. So let me get my big torquey wrench. Stay with me now. Flywheel wrench. Wrench is on the flywheel. And one more. All right, just like that, we'll get our paint pen, mark the flex plate bolts to tell everybody that they've been touched and torqued, and for our own edification, that when we go to put the transmission in, that it has been torqued. That's it. This will stay on until next week. We're going to make motor mounts, cut some out on the plasma cam, get them mounted up, and then we'll get the 4L80 and the 205 transfer case mounted up. We'll get it mounted up on the chassis, make it a roller, pull it up underneath, and we'll fit it up on the body. But this engine stand, I love it. So LS408 stroker from BCM in California. Need engines, call Matt. I think this is probably motor, I don't know, 30 or 32. We haven't ordered headers yet because we're waiting to see if we need to do, if we can fit long tubes, that's what we'll do, or if we need midlands, or if we need to end up going with some shorties, we'll find some good hooker or holley headers. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for upcoming videos. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this. If you like the motor. Thanks for the support.